Hello and welcome to autoX. Our office for today is quite a familiar one. This year is the 2020 Skoda Rapid 1.0 TSI and it has just been introduced with an automatic transmission option. With prices starting at about 9.49 lakh for the base Rider Plus trim, it makes the Rapid the most affordable sedan to feature a turbocharged petrol motor and an automatic transmission. We brought you a detailed review of the Rapid TSI a few months back, but that was the one with the manual transmission option and it was also the top-end Monte Carlo variant. What we have with us today is the style trim that sits a notch below. Now, a lot of elements on the Monte Carlo variant were finished in black. Like for example, the front grille had black surrounds, as did the ORVM casings, and the roof was finished in black as well. Instead, this style variant gets a lot of chrome elements on the front grille, on the edge of the glass house, and on the boot lid as well. The alloy wheels are finished in silver, whereas the Monte Carlo variant had dual-tone diamond-cut alloy wheels. In my opinion, the Monte Carlo variant looks a lot more sportier and it is definitely worth spending the extra 30,000–35,000 on. The interior of this style trim tells a similar story as well. It is finished in a rather uninteresting beige and black combination. The Monte Carlo variant was finished in all black and it had a lot of contrast elements, contrast stitching rather, on the steering wheel, the gear knob, and the seats looked a lot more sportier because of the upholstery as well. Interestingly, this style trim, despite sitting a notch below the Monte Carlo, gets 4 airbags. Everything else about the cabin is extremely familiar. The dashboard design is almost the same as we've been seeing for almost a decade now. It does, however, get a large touchscreen infotainment system in the center. It's an Android-based unit that packs a lot of features including YouTube, Netflix, video playback, and more. The infotainment does look a bit aftermarket and isn't the most intuitive unit out there. In terms of practicality, the Rapid continues to score really well. You get a couple of cup holders near the gear lever, you get really large bottle holders on the front doors, but in terms of ergonomics, it does fall behind a little, especially the USB port, which is tucked away inside the glove box and difficult to access. As far as space at the back is concerned, there is ample of leg, knee and headroom, but seating 3 abreast is going to be a tight squeeze, especially because of the large transmission tunnel in the center and the contoured seats as well. Moving on to the meat of the matter, that is the 1-litre 3-cylinder motor and the 6-speed torque converter unit. Now, we got a first taste of this particular combination when we test drove the 1.0 Automatic last month, and unsurprisingly it behaves quite similarly in the Rapid as well. The 3-cylinder motor is free revving, it is engaging and it is quick. The 6-speed torque converter is quite fluid in the way it goes about its business. Unlike a lot of other automatic transmissions that just brisk through the lower gears for the sake of better efficiency, this one doesn't quite do that. In fact, it manages to find a fine balance between efficiency and performance. Even in the drive mode, the transmission allows the engine to rev up to about 2000 RPM before making an upshift. Now, what that essentially does is it cloaks the turbo lag of the 3-cylinder motor quite well, and with the torque kicking in, the 175 Nm of torque kicking in at roughly about the same RPM, it ensures that the Rapid packs adequate punch. Pulling the gear lever further down into sport allows the transmission to hold the gears for a little bit longer and thereby extract the most out of the tiny 1-litre motor. When you go hard on the pedal, there is a slight bit of hesitation before it gives you a downshift, but it isn't something that you can't live with. But it isn't all sunshine and rainbows for the 6-speed torque converter unit. When driving in sport, the downshifts are noticeably jerky. And even when you shift to manual, the upshifts aren't quite as fast as you would want them to be, especially when you're driving enthusiastically. the manual transmission continues to be a better fit for enthusiasts. But for those who primarily drive in the concrete jungle and want the convenience of an automatic without compromising the mojo in their daily drive, the automatic does the job quite well, although not as well as the old DSG. Another downside of the Rapid, just like the Vento, is that from standstill, when you release the brake, it just lurches forward, and that can get really quite unnerving, especially while driving in traffic or parking in tight spaces. Skoda has smartly added an automatic option across all its variants, right from the lower end Rider Plus trim, and that should really help increase its reach. In fact, the Rider Plus is the most affordable automatic transmission option you can buy in that segment. But I have to mention here, the difference between the manual and the automatic variants is a substantial 1.5 lakh, which is greater than most of its rivals. With that in mind, the manual makes a much better value for money proposition. But if it is the convenience of an automatic that you seek without a compromise in terms of performance, then the Rapid still makes a pretty strong case for itself.